Hello, this is Guzalia Davis with the Smoke Out series. I have a very special guest who's a clinical hypnotherapist and who is helping people to quit smoking for many years now. He's been in practice for almost 17 years, and he's here today to help you become successful at quitting smoking. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Hi, Guzalia. I'm fine. And how are you today?
I'm very good. Pleasure to have you here. So
it's great to be here. Thank you.
I've invited you to help people that are ready to become non-smokers. And, you know, the routine, usually people ask the same things when they call to book for an appointment.
Right.
What is so special about you? You know, there are just as many hypnotists out there, that many ways to do hypnotic smoking cessation. Everybody does it differently. So what is so special about you? Why they should choose you?
Well, you've pretty much already kind of led with the with my whole criteria of listening for a potential client coming to me and asking me to help them stop smoking with hypnosis. If I hear them use the words "I need to" or "I have to," that sends up a red flag for me, because it's not until they make it personal and I hear the words "I want to quit smoking" or "I want to be a non-smoker." And you've said something very profound in that I help people become non-smokers. It's the complete identity change, really. I mean, if you think about all of the work that's been done on the various levels of change and what it requires to change a behavior or a behavioral pattern, unless they're changing smoking at an identity level where they're actually changing their identity from that of a smoker to a non-smoker. I don't believe that the change is fundamental enough on any other level. There's a lot of people that'll change their environment, and that's great. There's a lot of people that will change their beliefs about themselves, of what they're capable. A lot of them come right into the conversation. I can't quit smoking. I can't do it. Well, that's another big red flag to me. I need these folks to be as positive about their ability to become non-smokers as their desire to become non-smokers. They've got to want to believe that they can do this. I've got some training as a leadership and performance coach, so I do a fair amount of coaching on as part of my job at work as well, and I use a lot of coaching in my hypnosis as well. That fundamental change that requires a change in identity level fuels and drives all of the changes below it, the environmental, the belief system, the processes, and all of those things. So one of the questions that I usually pose to my smoking cessation clients, or at least the potential ones, is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you really want to stop smoking? Where 10 is that you want this more than anything else in the world, and 1 is, well, you could pick them up tomorrow because you've been doing this for so long and you really wouldn't care about it. If they come in at me with anything less than a 7, then I'll usually actually ask them to consider whether smoking cessation hypnosis is right for them at that time. Because at a 7, they're really not committed, in my opinion. If they're at an 8, a 9, or a 10, especially if they're at a 10, I believe they have the desire and they have the belief in themselves that they can quit, that they can become non-smokers, but they just may not have realized it yet, that they have that there. But if they're coming at this, with just the attitude, well, I want to try and see how this is working. Well, you tried all kinds of other things. These folks have already tried the gum. They've tried the pills, the Chantix. They've tried vaping and discovered that vaping can be just as addictive as the smoking itself. You've run into that too, I'm sure. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I want to make them understand and help them understand that these results that they're asking for are nothing because of whatever skill I have as a hypnotist, but it's all driven by their desire and their actual ability within themselves to believe that they can become non-smokers. It's a real pep talk. And if at the end of that little pep talk they still want to keep going forward, well, the ones that are serious about it are usually the ones that are willing to cough up the fee ahead of time to make sure that that happens. So, and for smoking cessation clients as well as other addiction clients, I make sure they have money in hand before they come or before we book a session, because if they don't, then they how many times have you gotten a Guzalia where you've done this work with people and you ask them for payment? Well, it didn't work. I don't feel any different than I did when I came in the door. I don't, I can't do pro bono work like that anymore. If I'm expecting to get paid from that client, I do pro bono work from time to time, but for the most part, I make sure that that extra level of commitment, the actual laying out of payment,
Yes, the payment
helps
shows
cement
commitment.
that. Yeah, it really cements it in their head if they're willing to shell out that money. And I don't charge a lot for my sessions, and that's probably what makes me popular. Is they can they can find that if they're committed enough, they can do this stuff in a very few amount of sessions. I don't give them a number of sessions it's going to take. I get the question all the time, how many sessions is it going to take for this to work? And my answer back to them is usually in the form of a question. How many are you willing to let it take? So yeah, that's basically my philosophy, how I come at the clients that come at me. And it's usually a pretty good discussion, usually a big revelation to themselves about just how much they really want to stop smoking. Some of them realize at that time that they really just aren't ready to give it up. And I'm sure you've run into that yourself.
Absolutely. And I think the actual process starts with the call.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They already made a decision for themselves. And I'm sure you asked them to do some prep work before coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They already have this mindset. They're already imagining having a different lifestyle, making adjustments, and
Mm-hmm.
that ensures the success planning.
Mm-hmm.
What would you normally tell them to do prior coming into the office?
Well, it's interesting, Guzalia. I don't have a brick and mortar clinic. I do all my work over Skype or over the telephone. And that's another big leap for some of these folks, and tells me how committed they're willing to let me call them on the phone and put them into hypnosis over the phone or over the computer. That's a big commitment there, a big show of trust, and just one more way that they can help themselves be successful. But as a lead up to that first session, I tell them, look, if you're making this identity switch to being that of a non-smoker, think about as you leave our call today, our consult call, how you feel differently about yourself and how you feel differently about your smoking. And it might be that you can put those cigarettes down now and walk away from them for just an evening and show yourself how successful you can be at being a non-smoker tonight. And you could be a non-smoker tomorrow. Just feeding them all those little bitty suggestions. And just, it's funny because I did that with one lady, and she canceled her first appointment because, she hadn't paid anything yet, but she'd become a non-smoker just on the power of that first consult call. I'm like, damn. And then
you shot yourself in the foot.
I did. And don't you know, Guzalia, about 6 months later, I got a call from a friend of hers who, she had been referred to me by. And then she says, you helped my other friend so much. She's now a non-smoker, and she said she never even had a session with you. How did you do that? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she reminded me of who it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. She was so receptive. She almost went in, I mean, she basically went into trance during that 30-minute
You're
consultation.
putting me into trance with your very soothing voice, and you have this very professional hypnotic pace.
I've got a very
It's
good
very
face for
relaxing.
radio. I got a great face for radio. So I've been told that by many people, but yeah, I've worked on my pattern and my ability to kind of pace folks and realize where they're at, and watch how their eyes blink and watch how they respond to the questions or how they're responding over the phone. And then I'm able to kind of match that and help them find that deeper level of understanding. So yeah, a lot of them walk away from that consult call saying, geez, I feel good. That one lady, she became a non-smoker and sent me a referral, who then turned around and became a paid client. So guess what? I've got to give that first lady, according to my own standards, my own ethical practices, I got to give her a free session, because that's what I do. I get a referral. The person who referred the paid client gets a free session from me. So I'm losing money, but I'm feeling good about it, because I've helped one person become a non-smoker, and now another who, and the cycle repeats over and over and over again. But both of them were very committed to becoming non-smokers.
Mm-hmm. But again, it shows the power of decision and commitment and desire. She wanted it so much, and you helped her just over a few minutes of conversation on the phone to realize how much she wanted it, and that was enough.
Yes, it was great. It was so funny. I just kept my, it had me shaking my head, and it's like, wow, how badly must she have really wanted to quit, just by the offbeat suggestions that I given her of, you could be a non-smoker tonight if you really wanted to. Just put the cigarettes down and walk away from them for a little while and see how it feels. Well, she did just that, and she never picked them back up again. Well, that was kind of a neat thing that's happened.
And then I'm sure if I was a smoker, I'd probably be done with it right now, just from listening to you.
Well, that's very flattering. Thank you.
Another question I wanted to ask about vaping. I think it's a huge mistake people make, thinking that vaping somehow is a healthier option to cigarettes. And I think it's a sensible step on the way to quitting smoking.
Yeah, and then you've got all these news stories out there now of the lung damage that it's causing. So yeah, I've had a couple people ask me if I can turn them to that as an alternative instead of smoking, and I told them I wouldn't do it. I said, there's research out there right now, news stories right now, it's saying just how bad it is for you. I can't, in good conscience and good ethics, put you into another bad habit to replace one that you're giving up, that you want to give up. So I'm not going to do it. I've had clients that come to me to get off of that have had no success at all. In fact, they find themselves hitting that vape, hitting that Juul, or hitting that e-cigarette more than they ever smoked as a regular smoker. One girl was frantic, really understood that she had a real problem in the vaping, and that was the first thing that she thought about when she opened her eyes in the morning. It was the last thing that she was doing before she was going to sleep at night. So she had a real problem. She recognized that. Said, I got to stop this, Dan. I can't do it. I'm going to hurt myself if I don't stop. I want to quit more than anything else in the world. And that was it. It was just a matter of just guiding her into that right place where she could make that final identity switch to someone who didn't use that, didn't want it. And she put them down. She put those things away and didn't even pick them up. She's still a non-smoker. And then she got her dad in touch with me, and he's now no longer hitting the Juul. It's like, double win. Pretty neat stuff. Love doing this stuff. I know you do too.
I know, I get trash every time. I ask my clients to keep me updated on their progress. Of course I worry, what if it didn't work? what
Mm.
if they need more help? So I ask them usually to shoot me an email like next day, and maybe a few days later, if they feel that they don't need any more help, they can, go on, or if they need to come back for more. Anyway, most of the messages are pretty much the same. To be honest, Guzalia, when I left your office, I thought I didn't feel any different, and nothing really happened other than I was very relaxed and feeling very good. I didn't think it worked, but somehow I just did not want any smoking anymore.
Yeah, the ones that, once they discover what their triggers are, the places that they visit, the people that they hang around, the times of day that they're most used to grabbing that cigarette pack and running outside. Once, they uncover those and let those go, then it becomes really, then they face the problem that one of my smoking cessation clients came back to me with for another session, to give him the motivation to find things to do in all the extra time that he now had in his day from not running out to go smoke. He says, it's the weirdest thing. He said, I never realized how much time I was wasting during my day.
Yes,
He says, and now that I don't have any interest in smoking, he says, I just sit at my computer and watch YouTube videos. He says, I can't do that. I've got to find something to do. He says, I know I've got things to do. I just can't find the motivation. So we worked on a whole session for finding motivation, with a lot of coaching thrown in. And now he seems to be feeling much better about life as a non-smoker, with lots of things to do, getting lots of stuff done. So another success story for you.
Yeah, very nice.
Neat stuff.
So are you hooked on that rush when you hear about success?
Oh, boy, howdy. Yeah. I got to say, we talked a little bit before this about about Thumbtack, and I've become pretty popular on Thumbtack. I've got hundreds of positive 5-star reviews, and I couldn't be happier. These people, I ask them to provide me with their honest thoughts about their sessions and how they felt about it when they write these reviews, and they've been amazing. It's really clear that a lot of these folks are making the best use of the things that we work out together. It's really become just a beautiful partnership with some of these people, and I really cherish each one of those encounters.
Yeah, you can't measure all of it with money.
No, that's right. That's right. I do this stuff for free, but as much as I find myself talking to perfect strangers on the telephone for many, many hours out of the day, my wife would kill me if I didn't charge anything. So yeah, it's, the money's nice. It really does come in handy, but I just truly get the rush, as you noted, out of just helping people and making them feel better and achieving their goals. And I like doing coaching for the same reason. And I envision a time after my retirement in the next 15 or so years of opening up a clinic, and then running a coaching and hypnosis service out of that clinic. So that'll be really kind of cool.
I know it will be amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Maybe we'll.
I know there is a lot of demand for that. Times have changed.
Boy, howdy, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I ask you for one tip for people who are ready to become non-smoker, what would you advise?
Make it personal. If they're, if they're being told, if they're doing it for anybody else for them but themselves, it's not going to work.
Absolutely
period.
True.
If they haven't made it personal and haven't made that switch from I need to quit or I have to quit to I want to quit, then it's just, they're not going to see the success that they want to see. And then it would at that point just be a waste of money. you and I well know that you can just tell a client anything in hypnosis that they, that even stuff that you've discussed ahead of time, if they're not ready to accept that, it's just not it's not gonna land. It's not gonna drive itself nice and deep. But if you got somebody coming in and saying, I want this, I want this more than anything else. I want to be able to breathe. I want to be able to walk up a set of stairs without finding that I have to pause every 3 or 4 steps to catch my breath. I want to be able to play with my kids because I have the energy and the inclination to. I want to be able to sit at a table without thinking about when the next cigarette break I could take. Or I want to be able to go out with friends and family without looking for those places outside of restaurants that I can go and stand and have a smoke while they're inside having fun. Unless they've made it personal, Guzalia, you know as well as I that it's just not going to work. And those are the people that I'll turn away every time if they haven't made it personal, if they haven't made that commitment to themselves and just being able to vocalize what they want. Many of them know what they don't want, but if they can't vocalize what they do want, when they can't confirm that it's for them themselves that they're quitting, then it's just not going to happen.
This is so very true. So listen up, folks. Find your why. Why do you want to become non-smoker? And it can be so different for each person. For some, it's been a life for kids. For some, health. For some, more time. And for some, even financial reasons, right? You do spend a lot of money for cigarettes if you count that.
Have you done the math on that yet, Guzalia?
Probably cigarettes cost different in each state, but with my clients, when I ask, they say 300 to 350 in average per month.
Yeah, and when you point out,
money.
And that's another point of influence and commitment. When you point out to them that a year from now, they could actually book a fully paid celebration cruise from the money that they'll save on becoming a non-smoker. That's profound for so many of these folks. I haven't had a vacation in years. Well, give yourself one. Become that non-smoker today. Walk away from them. Don't pick them up again. Okay.
Also, I don't think people think about how many benefits they get from stopping smoking. It's not just, money or better health, clean lungs. They keep benefiting from it.
Ways that they didn't even realize were benefits. So yeah, it's really kind of a neat thing. Yeah. All right. Very, very good.
So where can people find you? I know you said you work through Skype. So really distance is not an issue.
I have links that I could send to you, Guzalia, that you could include on your site if you like. That would, get them right into booking a consult session with me. My consultation calls are always free unless you're a no-show. And then I, depending on the circumstances, I might have to assess a small no-show fee, which I deduct off of a price of a full paid session or a session package. So
very good. And another question, because it is a little different, virtual hypnosis and from when you work in person. What should they be ready for? Like, is there special requirements? Do you ask them for headphones?
I encourage headphones.
Position for the camera.
Yeah, I encourage headphones. If they're doing a Skype session, I recommend a comfortable chair that they can't fall out of for the duration of the session. Of course, I use the normal suggestions for anyone who's seated, that the chair is gonna stay safely under them for the duration of the session. I've never had anybody collapse out of their chair. Had a few collapse back onto a bed, but in terms of the headphones, I do encourage headphones. I don't require it. If I let their own perceptions be their guiding point on that. If they're happy listening to my voice over a speakerphone, that's okay. I've actually done sessions with folks as they sat in their cars in parking lots in parks, and had my voice coming over the speakers of the cars. And apparently I've got a really nice bass tone element that just shakes the car from time to time. So anyway, that's been kind of fun doing that. The biggest thing I think of all is that they find a place that's safe and comfortable, that they can be relatively undisturbed for at least the first 15 minutes or so. After that, those normal everyday sounds that you're aware of during a hypnosis session just become extra deepeners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just put in that distraction filter as just a deepener. If you hear normal sounds that you're used to hearing in your environment, the normalcy of those sounds can help you find an even deeper level of hypnosis now. That's usually enough to really keep them going, downhill, right down into that place that we need them, right? So it's so much fun. I love it.
Right, Dan, I have to tell you something. I feel a bit tranced out right now just from listening to you. I'm pretty sure everybody is too. So do your job properly, bring us all out. Let our energy to rise.
Will do. Okay, so take a nice deep breath, and I'll be counting from 1 to 5. On the number 5, your eyes will open and you'll feel even better than you did a moment before. As 1 can come back to the surface, feeling 3 times as good as before, so you're alive and revived on 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling great.
Awesome. This is such a treat. Thank you so much, Dan.
You're so welcome. You have yourself a wonderful day, Guzalia, and I'll be talking to you again very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
You bet. Take care.